Hey guys, what's up? So it's Ranzo here. So welcome to another video. This is the promised follow-up video that I promised you guys in the last video about me and my family leaving Japan. There are a few things I want to talk about because the video was misunderstood by a lot of people, and I received a lot of messages and comments and stuff like that. People asking me different questions. So I want to clear up some of those things primarily with this. And I did tell you guys to leave comments using the word star apple, or questions rather, because I was going to do a Q&A video. But of course, I think the last time I checked, yesterday we had like 591 comments, and not all of them had star apple, in the comment, but it was a bit overwhelming. I was trying to respond to all of them in a video. I reached I think 24 minutes. But I think what I'm going to do is I'll respond to those questions, via responding directly to the comments in the comment section of the previous video, right? So this one I want to just talk about some of the misunderstandings, just bring clarity and clarification regarding the things I shared in the previous video so that you guys understand exactly what's taking place. Okay, so the very first thing, one, we have not left Japan indefinitely, right? So that wasn't what the last video was about. I thought I kind of said what it was toward the end of the video, but I guess maybe some of you guys never watched the entire video, so you came away with the thought that we've left Japan indefinitely. That's one. So that's not the truth, right? We've left Japan temporarily. For those of you who made it all the way to the end of the video and came away with the idea that we will be on some really long hiatus or like a sort of extended sabbatical, that's also not the case as well. We've left Japan temporarily for a very, very short-term basis. Of course, it's a very important trip because we hadn't been to Canada in 8+ years, right? So this was very, very significant because Canada was a country that we left right in 2016 and went to Japan. And since we've been there for 8 years, we've not set foot on Canadian soil. But here am I, in a park in Canada, a beautiful park actually, and my daughter is over there playing somewhere. My wife is sitting over there watching her with my second daughter, right? So we're just here just chilling today, in this park in Canada. Now, so I think, if you guys are wondering so Ranzo, have you left Japan? Yes, we are in Canada right now, but we have not left Japan indefinitely, right? I shared a few things and I want to just touch on them a little bit more and hopefully flesh it out a little bit more in terms of, it should be quite simple actually. But what I said earlier in the last video was that my time in Japan, in my estimation, in terms of pursuing my own dreams or my own goals or desires, have come to an end in that sense, right? So the next era, right, when we return back to Japan shortly, very, very soon actually, then that's where officially I'm going to start following God's will for our lives and time and time in Japan, right? So before this trip, it was all about primarily, actually, we've kind of started doing God's work, I think, even before we left for this trip. Right, so of course I haven't uploaded videos on this for 7 months plus, almost 8 months thereabout, right? So during that time and even before that time, I was focusing on doing God's work, right, on the second channel that we have, and just other things as well, in regards to just spreading the gospel, evangelism, etc. Just just shining the light of Jesus Christ, the light of the gospel of Jesus Christ across the world. So that's been our primary focus. So when myself and my wife, we were talking and just trying to track our journey to Japan, right? I went all the way back, to the beginning. Where did the idea come from, to go to Japan? And in that process of this long drive that we had as a family, we had vacation in Japan, and then, we had this long drive back home, and we're talking about these things, and I was able to track and look at just my life, and I realized that the whole time the hand of God was moving. So even though I thought we moved as a family based on our own desires and dreams and by our own volition, that wasn't the case. As far as our conscious mind could discern, the decision to move to Japan was our own, right? We're like, hey, you know what, I'm going to go there and check it out, like myself, adventure, have fun, all these things. But God was, working behind the scenes, because the Bible says, essentially in Proverbs that, as a man, you plan, but God is the one that directs our steps, right? He orders our steps, right? So we can do the planning in our minds, and we're saying, okay, we're going to do this thing and that thing, but the steps that we take, they're ordered by God. He's the one that orchestrates and leads in the way that he so chooses. So Japan wasn't my idea. It was God's idea. And for the vast majority of the time that we spent in Japan, we were focusing on just our own, goals and dreams and desires, right? I had this thing, this idea, and that was what gave birth to BEJ, right? So for that time, the Lord allowed me to, travel and explore and do all the things, right? So he allowed me to do that, right? Things that never had eternal significance, right? Things that, were good, but still it never had any eternal significance. And then back in 2022, as I said to you guys in a few videos, quite a few videos actually, the Lord spoke to me, and that was where there was a sort of like a shift, right? A shift from a focus, right? He said something to me, and then that started my sort of like a shift in focus, right? So now my attention was being shifted from my desires and my dreams and what I wanted to accomplish to what God wanted to accomplish, right? And he allowed me to be successful in the things that I was doing, right? But now he wants me to pursue what he wants me to do, right? So it wasn't until maybe almost 4 years in from he spoke to me that I really started to walk in what he wanted me to walk in. To fully surrender, right? Because I had a battle. And some of you guys are watching this might be saying, like God might be talking to you to do something, and you might not want to do it because, again, your view is just myopic, right? He's able to see everything. His vantage point is different from your vantage point and mine. He has all the data points. We just have a few, right? He sees all things. He sees the past, the present, and the future in one glance. So when he gives a command or an instruction or a directive, it's in your best interest and mine to follow what he's doing. And I've found in my life, through experience, that answering his will, his call, and doing what he says versus what I want to do is always beneficial. And the very best outcome is always found in obedience. And look, these are hard-won wisdom and truths, right? Like it never came easy for me because I wanted to do things my way. And I've lived that way, and I've learned my lesson going the hard way, right? Going counter to God is always more challenging than doing his thing. In the long run, always, as I said before, the absolute best outcome can only be found in obeying him and doing what he wants. So I've lived that. So that's one of the reasons why now my life is surrendered. And I realize when you say yes to God and you follow him, though, there might be certain challenges, of course, right? But still, again, the end of that obedience is always the very best outcome. I've lived it, and I've purpose now in my life to make every single decision a God decision, right? Wherever is leading me, I'm going in that direction. So I've learned, right? So I realize again that his way is always better. So when we return back to Japan shortly, my focus is going to be primarily doing what he wants me to do, whatever that is, right? And let's say, for example, if he said, relocate back to Canada, right? It doesn't really matter, right? Because people are saying, of course, I got messages and comments saying, okay, Canada is this way and that way. And of course, I did my research, just looking back at Canada and just seeing what's happening in the country and all the different things that have changed, etc. But again, a life that's surrendered. Some of you guys might be saying, what is he talking about? It's just, ramblings, but I know it's not ramblings because I understand exactly what I'm saying. And if you're not someone that's trying to please God, it might be a bit challenging for you to grasp what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is that there's a way to live your life based on your own desires, right? And pursuing what you want. And there's a way to live your life surrendered to God and availing yourself, making yourself available to be used in whatever way he sees fit. I was living the former, but now I've chosen to walk that other path that has proven in my life to be the very best path. If you want to fulfill purpose, you have to go to the one who gave you that purpose, the one who fashioned you in your mother's womb. So, I went to him for something else, but he directed me in another direction. So that's pretty much what my life is right now. So if God is asking you to do something similar, you might be fighting him, but my advice would be just say yes. Start from now. Don't wait 2 years, 4 years down the road, 5 years to say yes and answer the call and walk in that direction. You'll save more time and save yourself some heartache and stuff like that by saying yes as quick as you possibly can and moving in that direction. So if you said to us, you know, relocate and move to this country or that country, it really doesn't matter what is taking place in that country, to be honest, because again, he is the omnipotent one, meaning all powerful. He's the almighty, meaning he has all power. You understand what I'm saying? So he will provide, he will protect, he will lead, he will guide. So it's not in my concern to be anxious or, you know, about my own life and all these things, because it's now in his hands. So now because he has all the power, I have full confidence and trust that he will do what's necessary, right? Provide what's needed, you know, protect where protection is needed, lead where guidance is needed, and all these things, right? So my confidence is no longer in my prowess and abilities, but in his. That's a place of peace. Right, so again, there is a sort of a metamorphosis happening to this channel right now, and I felt that I was a little bit, not really obligated, but I felt that that responsibility. I felt that thing within me to, you know, just let you guys know what's up, right? Because it's been 7+ months and you guys have been commenting and asking me questions, DMing me on Instagram and stuff like that. So I wanted to give you guys an update, and that's why I'm doing this, did that video, and that's why I'm doing this one as well. It was a long time, of course, months, 7 months, 8 months. It's a long time in the sort of content creation space, right? To not be, you know, uploading stuff, right? Of course, I've been busy elsewhere, but I wanted to just come on and just talk to you guys, and that's why I did the previous video, and that's why I'm doing this video as well. So yes, I've not left, or rather, no, I've not left Japan indefinitely. It's not like an extended sabbatical. It's just a trip, right? But it's significant because of where we are, right? It's significant because of you know, the time we spent away from this place, this land upon which, you know, I'm standing right now, or sitting rather, right? So I think that's that. So again, BEJ is going through a sort of change, a transformation, and evolution, right, to what it will become. Of course, we have, you know, other channels, but, you know, BEJ, in terms of like what will happen to this, I said it might have similar themes to what it's known for, but there is a process of evolution taking place. So when we return back to Japan, what we will produce will look a little bit different. But and hopefully, you know, some of you guys, or most of you guys, we hope that you will continue with us on this journey, right? Of course, there are unreleased videos that I want to release as well before we make the shift, right? And also, I wanted to put a call for those of you guys out there in Japan specifically, but maybe some other countries in Asia, right? But Japan specifically, if you want to share your story, if for some reason you are waiting for the opportunity to share your story, right? Now is the time. So send us an email or a message on Instagram at THEBLACKEXJP, right? The @ mark at the front of it. On Instagram, you'll see it somewhere here on the screen. Send us a DM right there and let me know if you want to do an interview, or send an email to info@blackexjp.com, and we can get that done, right? Because I want to give you guys an opportunity. If you really wanted to come on and share your story, now is the time before we move in that direction that we're moving in, right? So again, you know, we have a few slots, right? So reach out. Don't think about it too long, right? The clock is ticking, right? So if you really want to share and you've been waiting for the opportune time, and now is the time, because we're taking a shift and moving in a sort of different direction, right? And if you guys want to know what we've been up to, check out the link in the description down below, as well as the pinned comment, right? That's one of the channels that we're focusing on right now, primarily doing God's work. We just hit like 100,000 subscribers. We're actually over that, maybe 101, 102, somewhere there now. But you know, God has been good, right? So we started that in 2021. It's been like 3 years, right? So you know, we're doing what we're doing, and this is the focus, because again, God said so. Here we are moving in that direction. So that's kind of, for the most part, the update. And hopefully, I've not been too verbose or vague. I think I've communicated clearly. You know, I wanted to give you guys additional details, so I did that. And again, in terms of the specific questions that people have asked in the previous video, I will respond to the comments in the comment section, right? So if you commented Star Apple and you asked a question, or maybe made a comment or something like that, my goal again is to prioritize those who put Star Apple and respond to the questions that you asked in the comment section. I'll try my best to respond over time. I guess I could maybe just give you guys a quick, like, 1 minute spiel as it relates to what has it been like being back in Canada. To be honest, I did watch you know, I watch a bunch of videos, like before even, you know, making the trip. You know, like I've been to, well, I was in America last year, California, specifically in New York. And of course, you know, I've been in Asia for a very long time. And being back in Canada, surprisingly so, it feels like home. It's not very different, actually. I was expecting to feel a bit strange, like how I felt when I went to Jamaica after a long period of time. It was, of course, Jamaica is where I was born, right? Like I grew up in Jamaica and I'm a Jamaican. But when I went there, for some reason, it felt a little bit different. I don't know why. Things were, I guess, I don't know why. It felt a little bit odd. But I've been back since then, and I guess now it's fine. But before, the very first time I went back after like a long period away from Jamaica, it felt a little bit strange. But going back after that felt okay. But so I was expecting something similar with Canada, right? It's been 8+ years, but I came back and I was like, oh, it's like we never left, you know, catching up with friends and family and all that. It's like we never left, you know, and where we are is beautiful. You know, it's, again, I'm a nature lover, right? And of course in Japan, nature in Japan is amazing. Canada too, right? Canada is actually the second largest country in the world after Russia. So yeah, so it's been cool being back. You know, my daughter, she's enjoying herself, you know. Tiffany, of course, you know, Tiffany grew up in Japan, speaks Japanese, you know, goes to Japanese school. You know, my second daughter, Abigail, she's chilling, having fun. You know, my wife, you know, just connecting with friends and family and having a good time. And, you know, and of course, I'm enjoying being able to buy all the Western stuff, you know, snacks and all these things, all the YouTuber stuff that I've seen, you know, watching in Japan that started products and all these things. And I'm able to like buy those things and try them, you know, in Canada. So I miss that, you know, I miss the access to Western type things, the ease of access to those things. So I'm enjoying my time. We're enjoying our time. You know, God has been faithful. God has been good. You know, and I just want you guys to leave you with this. I know some of you guys are struggling with a relationship with God. Maybe at one point you served Him and now you've kind of like veered off track like the prodigal son. But He's calling you back, right? So if you knew Him before you had that relationship, now is the time. If you were more caught up in what is not true about Him, read the Word, the Bible, and get to know Him personally, relationally. And then you'll see that He's worthy of all praise, all honor, all your efforts, all your time, everything, your life, really. I've lived that. I've seen it. I've been through like really hard times, and I've seen the Lord manifest Himself in beautiful ways. So I've come to the conclusion that indeed He's worth everything, right? And if you don't know Him, and you're depressed, full of anxiety, having a really hard time, now is the time to try to get to know Him. You've heard about Him. You've heard about Him by your ears. You've read things online, right? You might have seen things with your eyes, but now is the time for you to enter into that relationship. And it's very, very simple. Come to the end of yourself and call out to Jesus Christ. He is the way, He is the truth, He is the life, like for real. You know what I'm saying? Like for real. Not a question, not a doubt in my mind. I've lived it, I've experienced it, I've seen it. And I want to give you this invitation, to extend this invitation to you as well, to enter into a relationship with the great I Am. It's worth everything. That's it for now, guys. Thanks for watching. Until next time, God bless you all. Bye for now.